Hello everyone and welcome to the newest installment of our Arisen campaign. I am your host, Aries or Doma on several places. You know the cast, you know them, you love them. And just as I've been saying before, we're going to be changing up the beginning. I've said it in the past Draenora episode and the Arisen episode before this one. If you've been keeping up live, then you know what's going on. If you haven't been keeping up live, then we are going to be shortening our introductions, the announcements, just wrapping up the beginning stuff a lot more quickly and moving on to the show. This isn't going to affect our runtime. Our runtime is effectively still going to be 3 hours, with the cut in the middle, with the second part being able to be found on YouTube, right next to the first part, obviously. So, without further ado, I believe it is time for Last Time on Arisen D&D. Our heroes, after the unfortunate mishap of the kidnappings of both Raldir and his sister, the young royalty of the Silverleaf family, our heroes had gone out in search for any clues, any traces of the capturers in the direction that they were heading, but did not yield much results other than a wildfire going on towards the southern side of the Amali jungles and forests. As a result of this, our remaining heroes within the group, being Grafford Piton and Yizit, have returned back to Irongrove in order to give the report and find out what the next step was going to be. And it turns out that the next step was meeting with several very important figures within Irongrove. And this meeting involved the repair and alteration of Grafford's airship, a flying vessel that would greatly aid in the search for the young prince and young princess. Grafford then took some time to think about it, as his ship means a lot to him, and certain alterations without his consent would have ended rather poorly. We now join our heroes outside of the barracks, figuring out what their next move will be. The floor is yours.
If I remember correctly, we are like just outside the barracks.
Yep.
And is that outside or outside like in a hallway?
Outside. Okay. So, Grafford, Piton, and Yizit?
I'm gonna turn my head and look at Grafford because I'm a little out of my element here.
We need to figure out what we need to do next.
Well, seeing here, we don't know how long it'll take them to repair the airship. So I say for now, we'll wait. I'm gonna turn my head to Yizit. We're gonna need to help you with your whole language problem.
Are you saying we need to teach them basic English?
Common.
Common, yes.
Speak common. You not understand sometimes.
Well, we're going to teach you better common. You don't have the greatest vocabulary.
I don't agree.
And Yizit's just gonna kind of grunt and shrug a little bit.
I think I might be of some assistance. You hear a voice coming from sort of the alleyway between two buildings. A very familiar sounding voice of a very certain individual.
I think I know who it is.
You see a very somewhat small hand sort of peek out of the alleyway, dressed in a sort of greenish robe with a couple of twigs sort of just strewn about.
Yeah, it's Twig.
Hello, Twig. Can you help us?
Sort of making a beckoning motion with the hand to enter the alleyway.
I will.
Come
go
on.
towards-
Oh, this creeps it out just a little bit.
So, as you turn into the alleyway, you see the familiar face of Twig, the small elven boy, who you now know the actual name of, thanks to the captain. Twiggerth stands there. It's Twergith, sorry. Very similar names. So, he stands there in his short stature, overhearing the conversation that you had apparently started having.
So, you might have a way to help use it?
Well, I found the way to speak with him because he's a lizard man, and when I used speak with animals, it sort of worked. So if we could find some way to make something that he can wear or
That's
hold?
enchanted with said spell.
Something similar, maybe. Then we could sort of
Yes.
solve the problem.
That would be quite useful. Now, about going about this, where would we find such a thing?
Well, I know a lot of very powerful people, and I could try and get some strings pulled to make it happen. Since, of course, part of the plan is to take your airship, and from what the captain was saying, that the craftsmen are going to be coming in a couple days. So is the Archmage, when we're supposed to have that big meeting to figure out how we're going to find the prince and princess. So I can talk. You cut him off.
Yes, I'm just gonna poke him in the chest.
Ah!
Talk too much, just show.
Well, I could get some people to think that it's part of the plan to, I mean, obviously, communication, especially when we have such a powerful ally like you. He looks up at you.
Oh, there's just the biggest toothy smile.
able to communicate easily with you.
Look,
could be.
Twig, there's no reason to be this nervous.
This is just how we talk. I'm sorry.
I apologize. Go on then.
I find it quite cute.
So, these craftsmen, they do great work. They made this, and he holds up a tiny little ring that he's wearing on one of his fingers. He's like, "Watch," and he holds it out, and it makes an illusion of a smaller him, sort of projected on the wall. See?
I'm gonna poke it.
No, it's not real. It's an illusion. It's magic. I can make illusions with this little ring, and it was made by the craftsmen. They're very smart. Raldir actually, I'm sorry, the young prince actually sort of had this team of people that he would work with. The young prince, that, at least from what people tell me, is very smart, and he always had craftsmen around him that were helping him, and he was teaching them about things to do. So I can make this happen. It won't be very quick though. It will take some time.
DM, is that illusion 2D or 3D?
2D.
Oh. I lose
From
interest.
gorillas? I'm gonna kind of give him an inquisitive look, like, when you say surrounded by craftsmen, you think one of them could have gone off with that rebellion?
I'm not supposed to tell you what we think happened. I could tell just you, Grafford, because you're the leader of these people. But I mean this team. I didn't mean to say it like that. But we do have our theories about how the intruders got in, and well, like I said, I can't really talk about it in front of people of non-authority.
That's fine.
Yizit's going to take Grafford off his shoulder, put him on the ground,
Oh yeah, I forgot that was happening.
and just
Yeah.
throw a giant meaty arm over Paton's shoulder and walk her out of the alley.
Okay then.
How about now?
So, okay, it's just the two of us. So, it's, you're not gonna like it. Well, you, where do I start? The ring, yes, the ring, the ring that we were using to not get lost in the forest when we were searching for clues, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's impossible to get through the forest without one. That's why nobody leaves. So the only real possibility that we can come up with is
They
that,
might have come in with us.
yeah,
We would have had no idea otherwise.
they were apparently very stealthy to follow you, since the pathway to get in isn't very wide, and they must have used the commotion, at least from what the captain was telling me, for when you when there was the mishap where you were being taken by the guards.
Yes, of course. They used us as a distraction to get in.
I don't think that you had any sort of connection to them, but we have not ruled that out as a possibility.
You have a good reason to as well. Everyone's suspicious right now. I'm just worried about getting Raldir back right now.
So are we? That's our job. I need to, if you want that thing made, I need to go as soon as possible so it can be made in time. So
Yes, go on.
yes, okay,
Thank you.
bye. And he flies
Goodbye.
away. He puts two arms up, and like you see his greenish stained robes kind of just begin to flutter slightly above the ground as he lifts off slowly and then begins to fly away. So
I'm gonna walk out of the alleyway and look for them.
I'm going to be drawing in the dirt if there is any nearby.
And Yizit is hunched over, just staring intently at the drawing.
Enjoying your downtime, I suppose.
Yeah.
Trig went to go get the thing that'll help us with Yizit's problem.
That's good. Soon enough, we won't have to worry about comprehending what he's trying to explain.
Jeffrey sort of poofs into existence next to your hand. It's on and is sort of just like looking at your hand.
I'm going to pull Jeffrey into a... Jeffrey!
I don't know how to make ferret noises.
Yeah, I heard that.
I tried.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I can try. I don't know if I can do my favorite noise.
No, don't.
That one.
Well, when Grafford walks back out, Yizit's going to kind of stand up, still keeping eye contact on the dirt, and then just turn all the way around and walk toward Grafford.
Oh, you guys are a good chunk away.
About 20 feet.
Okay.
Wow, a pole.
Okay. Everybody meets back up.
So, what to next?
That's what I'm thinking about. There's a lot of things we could try to accomplish right now, but doing it without aid would and could be suicide.
Maybe we can try to find clues while we walk around. Maybe it's
Yes, but I do quite feel that'd be risky enough as it is.
Yizit's going to hold a hand down to Grafford, like palm up.
What do you want me to do? Walk on your hand like a platform?
No. When Grafford hesitates, Yizit's going to be like, "Want ride, think saddle?"
I'll take you up.
"No, I take you up." And Yizit puts Grafford on his shoulder.
Grab. Please.
I'd like to roll to grapple.
You put him in a full Nelson into a German suplex.
Graffrey's insta-killed.
KO! Okay.
I guess for now we should at least try to walk around. Maybe we will pick up on some sort of clue. Other than that, if we do find anything, I will not let us engage.
Can we examine?
We're just
Like a
going to look.
moment?
Yizit's going to roll an eye back at Grafford and just be like, "Need
Let's
resupply?
Start
Need-
heading in
Need buy?"
that way.
And he points.
Vague point.
Point.
Okay.
What ways are open to us right now?
Everywhere is open to you right now. So, as I was saying the last time, the streets are, well, at least in your immediate vicinity, you are completely surrounded by guards and soldiers that are constantly filtering in and out of the barracks into streams. They're sort of going around, talking to everybody, questioning everybody, gathering information, looking for clues of their own. Finding any sort of trace that they can of the infiltrators, and working in a coordinated effort to gather just as much viable data as possible that will assist. Go ahead.
You think they might have worked in the quietest part of town?
That could be a viable option, yes.
We should probably see where that is. Maybe it could help.
That's a good idea. Let's go that way then.
Wherever he points, I'm just going to start plotting that direction.
Dum 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 dum
Oh.
dum dum dum.
As we walk past it, I would like to sweep my tail and wipe out the drawing on the floor.
Okay. Roll for sleight of tail.
Oh, no, it's obvious. It's. I'm not trying to hide it.
Destruction.
No breathing.
So, where are you guys going?
To the quietest point in town.
Describe what you mean by quietest, as there are no
Least
sort of...
populated, shady, whatever you can grasp out of
Exactly.
I'd assume least populated.
Well, that would be kind of difficult to tell since everybody's inside their homes. It's really just guards out, like I said.
I'd say furthest away from the castle.
Well, I was going to ask, on my hell ride through town under that charm spell, did I get a general idea from seeing all the people in the streets?
Well, not really, since where the castle is, you were kind of just rampaging around there, and you climbed on a building. That's really about all you did.
Fair enough.
Okay, so for this, I'm gonna need a general perception check.
From everyone?
Yeah, everybody make a perception check. It's a sort of group check. Oop, that's playing twice.
I got a 10.
A 5.
Oh, it's a natural 1.
Yeah. I've got my character sheet over the...
An 18.
Okay, so it was a group check. Okay then. So you just begin to walk around. None of the guards really bother you because of, well, what they've been told. They've been, since all of what happened in the castle and what the captain said to you guys in the castle, apparently that sort of had a domino effect into you not getting stopped and bothered, at least from what you can tell. So as you wander the streets of Iron Grove, with the many roots of the large trees sort of snaking their way between buildings, or sometimes even curling up around the sides of buildings, as well as the small floating goldenish runes of magic that sort of outline very thinly and small sort of markings around the buildings themselves, very easy to miss. But after parading through town for, we'll say, about 2 hours, Iron Grove itself is a very small place, but the traffic of the numerous soldiers moving in and around, in and out of buildings, does slow you down. But eventually, you do begin to get towards the sort of most outer ring on the western side of Iron Grove. And you begin to see some of the buildings looking not so great. And the air, I guess I'll say, is quieter. There are still guards going in and out of buildings. You hear several people talking, guards talking amongst themselves, but other than that, it is rather quiet, other than the sound of shifting metal.
Does it sound like a forge, a blacksmith?
No, the shifting metal of the armor, like just walking.
Guards.
The guards.
Guards.
Where's the blacksmith?
Oh,
Where's the leak, ma'am?
All right.
I believe here would be as good as a place to start. We should probably ask one of the guards about any findings so far.
Are there any, like, the setup, is it the same style of street, just more run down? Or are the
Yes.
homes, like, spaced out farther?
So the best way to think about the layout of Iron Grove is that the castle is towards the back end of it, and then it has its own space, and then there's sort of like several just pathways that sort of spiderweb out from there. The layout is actually rather basic, but serves its purpose quite well. Easily defensible, and it really just looks less taken care of. It doesn't seem as clean as the floors of the sort of rest of the place. It's very musty and quite. Or what word do I use? Not quite in disrepair, but not great either.
So it's kind of like a high-end slum.
Sort of.
Okay.
Since that's
Do
an
any-
oxymoron. It's kind of hard to wrap their head around, but yeah.
Do any of the buildings look abandoned, like boarded up, or?
Nope.
Oh.
Can I look for anyone that's suspicious around? Or that seems suspicious? Yeah.
I want you to go ahead and make an investigation check by yourself.
Nice.
Soft.
Non-natural.
You have to specify soft or natural. For the listeners at home. Okay. So, let me see.
There's a man eating a baguette, tightrope walking.
That just sounds great on stream. You guys didn't hear me because of the filter, but here we go. Okay. So, you begin to look for places that there aren't really guards. There, because it's an organized effort, but you sort of begin to look at the places that they're just staying away from. There doesn't seem to be many, but as you continue just scanning the environment and taking in your surroundings, you begin to look for some of the shadier parts of the area around, the darker corners, the smaller spaces. And as you begin to move around, the both of you begin to see Patan sort of wandering aimlessly, seemingly, but eventually Jeffrey jumps off your shoulder and begins to run down an alleyway. So, off he goes.
He's getting further.
Scamper, scamper, scamper.
So I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna follow.
If she takes off after Jeffrey, I'm gonna book it after her.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say I'm gonna book it after Jeffrey. Delicious.
No, he's not even snack sized.
All right, he's potato chip size. So,
Jeffrey would just get stuck in his teeth.
So, since you're directing where Grafford is going, obviously, Jeffrey bolts into an alleyway, and you give chase. He immediately turns into a small hole in the wall, just with a very sharp angle, and sort of writhes and wriggles his way into the hole. And from with here, you're and then a loud crash followed by several bangs coming from within the building.
Was this hole next to a door?
No, it's in the alleyway, and he just sort of went through a hole in the wall.
Jeffrey, are you there?
Patan gets down on the ground and begins to talk into the hole.
Wait, can I look from his vision?
Yeah, you have a dark vision actually. So you can see inside, and you see a very, very small room. It's very sort of hard to make out from this very small viewpoint, but you see Jeffrey passing into view every once in a while, jumping around.
You just heard her.
Huh?
She meant through Jeffrey.
Oh, you're gonna use Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh. Alright, so it's still hard to take in from the ground. There's still a lot going on around, and you see an elven gentleman stomping around, the large foot landing very close to you, and an interior with a very shoddy looking table and a chair that's been knocked over. One of the legs is broken. A very awful looking living space.
What does the man look like?
It looks like an elf.
What's the skin of the elf?
What's the what?
What's the skin of the elf? Is it?
I mean, elves always look great. That's just how elves are.
Yeah, color.
It's an elf, a wood elf. Let's not make this about color, guys.
I knew this was going there.
It's one of the dark elves. It's one of the elf skin people.
Is it one of the? Is it? One
No,
of them?
it just
Or
looks
does
like a
it look
normal. It
like
looks like a normal wood elf. Looks like a normal wood elf.
He's
So-
here to kill you.
To Yizit and Grafford.
Patan
She
is
got
sort
down
of just she's just on the ground and she's looking in the hole and she's just stuck there.
Well, she got down, yelled into the hole, and then went catatonic.
Yeah, she's just stuck there.
Yizit would like to nudge her.
She falls over.
Huh.
I'm gonna call Jeffrey back. Actually, before I do, I'd like to see where the entrance is.
Well, you can communicate with Jeffrey mentally, but you still have to remember that Jeffrey still thinks like an animal. And he's currently attempting to be stomped on, so he's kind of just running around in a panic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, do I see a door anywhere or the entrance?
Jeffrey is not focusing on finding a door. Focusing on not
Okay.
getting stomped on.
I'm gonna try. Can I try to call him? Wait.
I mean, there is a front
Come
door
back.
at the front of the building. You guys are currently just in the alleyway between that building and another building.
Okay. Can I call him back?
You can pull him into an extra dimensional space.
Can I pull him out again?
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to do that.
Okay, so you stop focusing on that. You realize you've been kicked over and you're lying on your side now. And all you you pull Jeffrey into that extra dimensional space that belongs to him. And all you hear is what? What the hell? What? Sort of confusion coming from inside.
Is it loud enough for us to hear?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
Okay.
It's sort of muffled through the wall, but it's loud.
Well, looking down at her and hearing that, Yizit would like to knock on the wall. It's the polite thing to do, right?
You knock on the wall.
I'm gonna just in a hushed tone say, Patan, what was that?
Some hope was trying to stop on Jeffrey.
Why did Jeffrey run in there in the first place?
I don't know. Jeffrey, can you somehow tell me how you did that?
Jeffrey, I feel like Jeffrey can talk.
Yeah, he's in pocket dimension too.
Yeah.
What? I told him to come out.
Oh, you.
Poof.
Did anybody else hear her say that? I didn't
That
say
was
that.
the last part. I might have been really quiet then. I'm really sorry.
Okay. So you pull him in, you pull him to your side, and then you poof him out. When you poof sound effect.
So, I'm gonna pat his little head.
Alright, Yizit will bend down and offer her a hand.
Ferret
And,
noise. There you go.
Yeah. And just be like, what smoke rats see inside?
Ferret noise.
Is it something important, Jeffrey?
Ferret
It's so
noise.
That is it or not?
I actually don't know if I have speak with animals, and I don't know if it would work on him.
Ferret noise.
Well, I was asking Patan
Yeah.
what her smoke rat saw inside.
It saw an elf who was trying to stomp on him. The place inside looked really, very, not so much as a place for living.
As you all stand in silence, pondering what to do next, Yizit knocks on the wall. Nothing happens.
And then one time, just really hard.
Make a strength check.
Oh, crap.
You're gonna bust a hole through this guy's wall.
Let me see.
Well, the walls are made out of like this whitish stone material.
Stucco.
Alright, rolled a 2, got a 11.
You leave a small indentation, and it sounds like this.
But more stone-like.
Yeah.
Oh, scratch that.
It's a
9.
9.
You leave a small indentation, and it sounds like this.
Fair enough.
But stone-like.
Did Patan take my hand to get up, or am I just standing there?
Oh, yes, she.
Okay.
So, should we have any reason to have done this? Is it? Why'd you knock on the wall?
Ferret noise.
Is polite.
Maybe he wants us to talk to the man.
I see. I guess we'll go talk to him then.
Alright.
Let's make our way to the front door.
Yeah!
Like normal people.
And
Like
I
a
will-
boss.
I will repeat the knock.
One really hard one at the end?
One slightly less hard one at the end.
Rada. Okay, I had to. I felt myself gonna do it, so I had to do it.
Rabble.
Felt myself gonna do it.
So, eventually you hear, "Hold on!" And the door opens eventually, and you see what appears to be a sort of rather shabby-looking wood elf. He looks exactly as if he was in his prime, but as you know, that very specific trait about elves is that no matter how old they are, they always look that way. He's very, very dirty, very unclean. His clothing is torn, and it looks like his shirt is made out of a burlap sort of sack that has 3 holes in it. And some pantaloons that look like they were fashioned from curtains.
Huh.
Hmm.
At first sight, I'm gonna be kind of taken aback, and then I'm gonna just settle myself and say, I apologize for what happened a couple minutes prior. That was our animal, Jeffrey.
Now, you didn't diddly dang rat thing?
It's a weasel.
That would be it.
Forgot it was a weasel. I've been calling it a ferret.
It's a weasel.
noise.
Let me rectify this. A weasel noise. There we go.
There you go.
Great job, genius.
So, continue.
Now, Piton, I think you should apologize as well.
I am very sorry. I did not expect my weasel.
It's a ferret.
You're blaming on me.
It's a ferret.
So much.
Ferret,
Or
no?
ferret so much.
It's a ferret.
Okay.
Cannon.
Let me restart. I'm so...
It is killer. Okay.
I am very sorry for my weasel suddenly coming in like that.
Is it still around?
I'll just slowly poke his face out, I guess.
Oh, it looks yummy.
Please don't.
I was worried you'd say something like that.
I'm gonna just like hug Jeffrey very protectively.
If he hasn't noticed use it yet, when he starts making the drooly face of hunger, use it recognizes this and will pull a prime choice use it snack out of his belt and hold it out to the guy.
Oh, you're a gray feller.
We will give you this if you may give us some information on any suspicious activity you may have seen.
What?
We'll give you this, and maybe more, if you can tell us anything about any more suspicious activities you've seen around here, involving some, as you put it, gray folk.
I know nothing about no done gray folk. The guards come in and keep on asking me about the gray folk, and I'm just gonna tell you, damn, tell them. I don't know nothing about no gray folk.
We won't give you any food if you don't tell us anything in general.
Is he telling the truth?
Oh, gee,
Yeah,
it's like there's a check for that.
Whoa! It's like there's an insight for that.
It's like
I
there's
would
an app
like
for
it.
that.
Whoa!
Okay, go ahead. Who's making the insight check?
Yeah, I was about to ask,
Oh,
which
crap.
one of us?
Ooh,
Okay.
that's pretty high.
What's the total?
19.
Total's 19.
I'm gonna give it to you in a whisper.
Okay.
This is too important for me to say out loud since you made the insight check.
Blab it out.
Okay.
I reach in and pull out another ration and hold out both.
I already told you I don't know nothing about no gray folk.
Lean in, grab his hand, put the rations in it, turn around and walk away.
And you take Grafford with you.
Is it? What are you doing?
Smells like truth. Look elsewhere.
See, there's some aspects of you that are pretty good then.
You can eat that rat thing.
Yes.
You're too
Yes,
far away at
we
this point.
will. Yes,
Sorry.
we will.
Talking to Patana. You can eat that rat thing?
Wait, what was that?
You gonna eat that rat thing?
It's not to eat. It's familiar.
You gonna eat that rat thing?
No, I'm not going to eat that.
Can I eat that rat thing?
No, you cannot eat that rat.
He rolls to grapple.
And then Patan looks around and realizes she is alone.
Yep.
Oh shit.
I roll to grapple.
Do I still see them?
7!
My armor 6, no!
Wait a second, what?
What's your AC?
Grapple should be contested strength, shouldn't it?
No, it's contested against AC the first time.
AC.
Then breaking out is contested strength.
I don't have AC.
What's
You
your
got more
armor
than
class?
7.
You've got more than 7 AC.
I do.
We're
I didn't have armor.
we're professionals.
And it never ends.
I thought I didn't have armor.
Everybody has base 10.
Yeah, the 7 doesn't cut it no matter what. But he does lunge at you, reaching into your shirt, trying to get at Jeffrey.
Can I try to punch him in the face?
Yeah, make an unarmed attack.
What do I roll?
Just roll and add strength and proficiency, because everybody's
What would that
proficient with
be?
their unarmed strikes.
But it's a maximum 1 damage.
It's a maximum damage of. It's a minimum of 1 damage plus strength mod.
Roll 20, right?
Yes, make an attack check. Punch this man in the face. Do it.
Dead.
Punch him.
Give him a right hook and a left.
Okay, call it out, because that dice is cocked on screen.
7.
7? That's not enough!
Alright. Hearing the sounds of the scuffle, I would like to walk back, grab Patan by the collar, pick her up off the ground, and walk away.
Not until he rolls for another grapple!
Oh my god.
6! He lunges
I'm gonna go
again.
in for another punch.
Nope, you're being carried away at this point.
At this point,
Aw.
Yuzu just walks
Can I,
in all
like-
calm.
Is there like any way I can try to like hit him as I walk?
As
away?
you're flailing, being pulled by the collar, you try and kick at him, but you can't reach him.
Oh.
Jeffrey, go bite his leg.
Oh, I can bite his leg? Yay.
So you
Wait,
exit the scene.
Wait,
Well, as we're walking away,
where?
walking or being carried or riding away, depending on who it is.
Yep.
Yizit's going to turn to Grafford and, Spirit's wrong in head. Does not know what sees.
I didn't think you of a people person. Huh.
See many. Hid in head. Get spirits.
Can you put me down now?
And he drops her.
And I get up.
How tall are you?
Me?
Yeah, how tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Aha, you're over 5 foot. Take 4 points bludgeoning.
Well, I wasn't like carrying her. I was more like dragging.
2 points bludgeoning. She fell on the ground. I will hurt her.
And she only has
4
2 hit
HP.
points. She's dead.
But
I'm very low. Can you-
since the Yizit is aware now that people don't understand him, he's going to look at Grafford and kind of do like a open eye, wide-eyed expression and say, "Understand Yizit, yes?"
I more or less can get what you're saying at any given time, but I can understand. He's not in his right mind.
Suddenly, a pair of guards walks up. It is drawing more and more near into the afternoon. The sun has disappeared behind the very, very tall trees, and all you can see is the sort of circular window of the space above that is not obscured by branches and leaves, almost like a lake of the colors of the evening sky above you. When suddenly a pair of guards walks up to you and says, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's a curfew, and no one's supposed to be on the street after this time of the sun going past the trees.
Oh, okay. Well, do we go?
And I don't mean no offense, but you look like shit and beaten up, so you might want to get some shut eye.
Thank you.
I can agree with that one.
Mhm.
We're not the best.
Your efforts for trying to find the young prince and princess much appreciated, but we need everyone to be ready and fit. And that includes you. And he gives a salute. Don't let us catch you outside after curfew. And he walks away.
Have a good day. I'm gonna wave him goodbye.
Night.
Night. Hey, see you.
Where were we staying? I doubt we're staying in the castle.
I was
I
staying
think they
in
said we
jail.
were able to stay in the castle for a little bit.
So I guess I'll head back there.
Mm-hmm.
So as you make your way, I love doing that voice.
I love it too.
As I saw them make the way back to the castle.
Yep, we're gonna do it like he's watching and he's narrating it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I watched them walk back to the castle. It was apparently where they were supposed to be staying. The captain didn't say anything about it, but we didn't bother them. We wasn't supposed to. They walked inside. I followed them inside. They went into a very large room. There wasn't not many people around except for the service people, and eventually they sort of just went to a place where they could sleep, and I watched them. And then I left.
That was beautiful. 10 out of 10.
I like being watched.
Dear diary.
I saw some weird people.
Sounds like a Lord of the Rings character.
There was a little one. Okay, that's enough. I'm having too much fun.
He's a fun character.
Yes.
Well, just a fun voice.
So, you guys do eventually, you're led by some of the service people, as I so called them. But surprisingly, a very specific person of interest is still nowhere to be found. And
Birchwood?
yes, Birchwood.
Mm-hmm.
Birchwood is still nowhere to be found. Bonus points for you to remembering his name.
You didn't remember his name?
Grow flies and wing. Anyway. So, everybody take a long rest. Except Raldir, obviously.
Me too. Me too.
Raldir is not with us. And yep, everybody make sure you're doing that.
It's nice to be at full HP again.
And we'll go ahead and move on to the next day. So, today was supposed to be the day that craftsmen were supposed to come and talk with Grafford more in depth about what's going to be going on, but they did not say where they were going to meet. All that was said was that they were going to find you and talk to you.
Nice.
When we get up in the morning, Yizit's gonna sidle over to Grafford, wherever he is. And since Grafford didn't reply earlier, he's gonna repeat it. Need get supplies, need buy thing.
I'm sorry, but that one I couldn't very well understand. Are we missing something? Are we out of something?
For flyboat.
Yes. Almost said something.
Okay.
Yes. They said they would find me and contact me. Were we supposed to? No, they were going to find us. I say, we might as well head into town and wait somewhere.
I'm gonna set up. Can we find something to eat?
That would also be.
Yizit reaches toward his belt pouch and looks at both of them questioningly.
I don't think we can eat that. Is it?
He shifts to another belt pouch and pulls out a normal ration.
Oof.
Can I okay, I'm just gonna get out of bed and eat it.
Okay, so we're gonna skip a little bit of time, and everybody's done eating when there is a sort of knock upon the door.
Can I open it?
Oh, we all want to open it.
Yizit has a goat leg sticking out his face.
Yeah, the tongue can go open.
Jeffrey will open the door.
Jeffrey scampers towards the door, tries to jump up towards the knob, but
Use
isn't able.
enlarge on Jeffrey. Jeffrey, open door.
Grafford casts enlarge on Jeffrey. Jeffrey is still not large enough, but is now the size of a small, like a medium, like a small dog.
I'm gonna pick Jeffrey up and I'm gonna help him.
Pretty sure weasels can stand on their hind legs.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they can.
But they also don't have opposable thumbs to turn a knob.
Oh, I thought Jeffrey was just gonna bite the thing.
He's a big furry slinky now.
He's a big furry slinky that the tongue can hold. He's like a foo-foo dog. But I'll help Jeffrey open the door.
Okay. So, Patan opens the door. We did it, guys! We opened the door!
With Jeffrey.
We used the second level spell!
I didn't really want to do it, but I didn't say it out of character or anything, so that happened.
It was worth it.
Big Jeffrey.
Slightly bigger Jeffrey.
Okay. So you open the door, and it's one of the service people. An elven woman standing there, sort of leaned forward, dressed in serviceman clothing. Serviceman. Terribly sorry to bother, but there are some people here from the various, there are people here to see Sir Grafford.
Thank you for informing us. We should go.
I'm just gonna hot down that bone and
Bows
move to the
forward and awkwardly walks away after making eye contact with Yizit, a look of horror.
I'm gonna skip out of the room.
With big Jeffrey in hands.
with the big Jeffrey in hands.
Well,
I wonder how long Jeffrey would be around my neck.
Jeffrey's a real scarf now.
True.
Yeah. We'll make our way towards the place.
The place.
And the thing.
So you go towards a sort of main hall area, of which you first entered into the castle. The opening with the long, sort of greenish, green gilded red carpet sort of style, leading up to the throne, and you see what appears to be like a huddle of about 10 or 11 people, all carrying various tools, very, very many pieces of parchment, very rugged clothing. Just imagine like a group of engineers that have been working for like 26 hours.
Straight?
Yeah.
Oh.
What? This is interesting.
But they're all elves, so they look gorgeous.
So, let's get down to business then. What has to be done
Okay, nobody said it. Okay.
to defeat the Huns?
That was-
Send me daughters.
That was the most depressed way I've heard that said.
To defeat the Huns.
Okay.
Why
Oh,
they
God.
send me daughters?
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. So all of them turn towards you at their own pace, and you do see that they all look rather tired. But they all sort of turn to one another. And, yes, 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 yes. Sort of murmuring to each other, and then look back at you.
That's kind of creepy.
They're looking at you.
At me or her?
At you, Grefford.
Just gonna nod yes because they were all just yes.
Staring at you, Grefford.
Well, go on then.
Yes, 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 yes.
Well, come on, let's fly over here. Is that a reason? If so, I would like to know.
One speaks up and steps out of the crowd and looks Grafford eye to eye at eye level. It is a gnome, being obscured by the taller elven people. Hello.
Oh, this is a reunion.
Not all gnomes know each other.
Know each other.
I know.
That's
It's
racist.
like a reunion. How is that racist though?
Don't mind her. She's
Come, let's do a walk and talk.
all right.
This gnome is a younger gentleman with sort of short brown hair and brown eyes. Very full face, but sort of slim figure, dressed in rather normal attire that has a very small pin that says "I'm the best."
He's Toad.
And he sort of slings an arm around you, and the both of you begin to sort of walk down the red carpet towards the door, and begin to engage in conversation. Go with the head.
So, what are the plans, so to say, for the repairs?
The plans are going to have to go to your expectations. You're going to have to lead us. None of us have ever worked on an airship before, and we're going to need to see how the intricate workings of the airship need to be repaired. But the first thing we're going to need to do is retrieve the airship from its crash site, which will not be too difficult, actually. We have among us several very powerful, they like to be called druidic folk, and they can go about the details and the workings of retrieving the airship without damaging it further via their magic.
That should be quite easy for them, you say?
It will be, especially since I made one of these.
And he's holding up a small little brownish ring, but what catches your eye is the green gemstone.
I made a prototype of a sort of smaller version, a more accessible version of a ring that operates similarly to the royal signet rings. At least only temporary before I destroy it, because technically this is illegal. But we will be able to work on your ship during this. Trust me, we are zoned for this. I have permission. I do not. But we will be using this to make sure that we can work outside of the city without bothering too many people. Hopefully.
Aries?
Yeah?
Don't I still have the signet ring?
No.
I don't?
Nope.
They took it?
Yep. The captain took
Okay.
it back.
Well, it's good that you have one of those. We'll keep that on the down low. We're not one to spill anything.
I made it. I did not steal it.
No. I understand.
So, Mr. Grafford, was it?
That's correct.
My name is Ponsalius the Fourth.
Pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
You can call me Ponzi. Call me Ponzi.
Alrighty, Ponzi.
Ponzi!
Sorry, Ponzi.
There you go. So, the first thing we're going to need to do, he turns around, we're leaving now!
Yes.
What's up with them?
I have no idea.
I should call the others. Pitan? Yizit? We'll be heading off? Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna follow.
Yep, follow.
And everybody in the room begins to make their way towards the large doors, where the servicemen, are already in the process of opening it. And as you begin to step out,
Forward!
yes.
So what is here exactly?
Well, the first thing we're going to need to do is go and retrieve the destroyed airship, which my associates here will be able to do. So first, we're going to need to get out of the city.
Okay. That won't be that hard, hopefully.
Are there any questions before we move into the montage?
Will any of us get hurt?
Probably!
Yizit's gonna snag Graffert and put him on his spot. And then start eyeballing the other gnome.
Well,
I think he's
And-
wondering if he would like a ride.
I'd just pick him up and put him on the other shoulder.
high five!
Looks over towards Grafford. Great.
2 high fives.
To your face.
I want to see that now. I want to see Yizit with both of these gnomes on either shoulder.
High-fiving over the top of his head.
Yes.
For
giant ship.
And then there was Baton along.
Now that is red.
So
Baton doesn't
we're gonna montage over to getting outside of the city. This gnome, his name is Ponsalius the Fourth, and he prefers to be called Ponsi. As soon as you get to the edge of the city, he holds up his hand, a clenched fist, and it begins to glow brightly. And the entryway, similarly to the way that the signet ring operates, creates a doorway, except it's not as exactly the same. You see the large face of a treant begin to appear, but before it has a chance to speak, its mouth is sort of just stretched open until you can see this. So it's like, and its mouth meets the ground, and there's sort of an archway sort of passage going through, and everybody makes their way through. And then the fist stops glowing, and it closes back up.
While we're going through, can I just check around just in case?
For what?
For people, in case they're actually coming in or out.
Oh. There's just everybody that's supposed to be coming in and out, the associates, and then you guys.
Okay.
You can make a perception check if you want, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You bet I will.
Okay.
15.
Nothing appears to be entering or exiting other than the people.
All right, so then I'm just gonna look like I'm looking around like really suspiciously.
Yep.
And that's it.
Okay. So Ponsi taps on top of Yizit's head.
All right, time to go down.
I'll lean toward his side and just kind of pick him up and put him on the ground.
Right. So, associates, if you would so kindly. Yes.
All of them move from their sort of kids next door huddle type situation, and they all sort of line up side to side, and as they all raise their arms into the air, their sort of surroundings around them, the grass at their feet begin to sway more and more, and the long grasses of the valley in front of you begin to ripple in waves, until eventually it almost resembles that of a very violent storm upon the ocean, and almost like a catapult, you see the remains of the airship fly out from the cliff sides around this valley, and it begins to plummet very, very rapidly, almost launched in the direction of everybody. But Ponsi and the druids do not flinch or move, even though it's starting to close the distance very rapidly. And then in all of the druids in a sort of swaying motion, almost like move simultaneously, lifting their arms from left all the way to the right of their bodies, and a huge wave of earth sort of washes over and nullifies the impact, softening the landing and basically catching the catapulting airship, and then gently resting it in front of everyone. As everybody stares in stunned silence, apparently, Ponsi begins to step forward, and then points up at Grafford.
Well, come on, then.
All right.
And I try to climb onto the airship.
So there's a large hole in the bottom, and by large, I mean large enough for a gnome, so rather small. And Ponsi immediately begins to walk inside.
Use it if you mind.
I'll put Grafford down.
You hear from inside, "Come on!"
Yeah, I'll follow Ponzi in.
Is there any way I can get it? Or on? And,
Well, I think he just really needs me in there.
I know, but I want to look around.
Okay, you can make an athletics check to try and climb up on top because there isn't really a hole that you can stretch yourself into.
Oh, Giant Jeffrey is no longer giant if that was a montage.
18.
Okay, you're on top. Congratulations. You climb on top of the airship.
Yay! I'm king of the world.
Yuzit's just gonna prop back on his tail and start eyeballing the associates.
The associates have now at this point all coalesced back into their huddle.
He's just gonna watch them the same way like somebody would absent-mindedly watch a flock of birds.
It's a great way to put it. So, Ponzi and Grafford are in the bottom deck of the ship where the several rooms are that each of you were staying in during your travel, as well as several supplies that unfortunately got left behind. So, Ponzi turns and looks.
So, where are the controls? Where is the gear room? Is there any sort of how does this work? I don't know how it works.
If I remember correctly, Aries.
And you begin to lead him to the door that has the main controls that you know about.
Yes. Thank you. I remembered.
Of course you did. So towards the back of the room, between either sides of the staircase, there is a door. And as you open it up, you lead him in, and you see several long pipes, 4 of them, that lead up towards the ceiling. From what you know, these are the 4 pipes that sort of run the levers and that are connected to that mechanism at the steering wheel. And you begin to see it's several beams of wood that are interlocked, and then as the wheel turns, it sort of shifts the direction and moves everything over. And it's very, very, very complicated. But Ponzi is sort of just looking up and around.
Yes, I see. I don't understand. I see. All right. So what material is this made out of? What does this do?
I wouldn't suggest touching.
And he begins to reach for a small lever that seems to be very well hidden.
Wait, no. Don't touch that one.
What?
Kerchunk. And the whole thing begins to rise slowly into the air.
Why is this thing going up?
What did that do?
We're lifting off the ground.
Shit. Okay.
He tries to move it back, but it won't move back.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's basically main ignition sort of thing.
It's not working.
Hold on. The controls on the top.
Panic!
What are we doing?
I'm gonna get outside and go to the top.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just try to move the levers to the point where we can get back down.
Okay, go ahead and make an intelligence check with proficiency. So, Baton, you're standing on top on the deck, and it slowly begins to start rising into the air. And just as it starts to do so, you hear a loud boom as a door slams against the wall, and you watch as Grafford runs up from one of the 2 stairwells going down onto the deck, and immediately rushes towards the wheel and begins to fiddle with the levers. I can see it, so say it out loud.
That's 10.
10?
Yeah, I believe it's 10.
That wasn't a good roll.
It really wasn't.
So,
But I rolled a 2, so it's like...
So as you begin to move things around, several machinations, I guess we'll call them, levers being moved, you hear Ponzi,
Oh, that's interesting. Or sorry. Oh, that's interesting.
because it's coming from below deck.
I'm just gonna yell out, "Don't touch anything else, please!"
Can do.
I would like to hold on to something.
You grab onto the railing, one part where it's not broken.
Time to try again.
Yep, make another check.
Crew chunk.
Yizid is just staying out from underneath it.
Oh,
27.
Oh. So it had risen about 40 feet in the air. Before you get it back under control, you pull a lever to lock the altitude, and then you pull another one to change the angle of up or down, and you begin to slowly direct it downward. It does take a while because the wind isn't too strong, but you angle it to a point where you can use the wind as to how it is and eventually get it back to touchdown, and then you lock altitude so that way it's floating just slightly above the ground. Because you have to remember, this thing is basically like a balloon always.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ponzi. It should be good now. You can come out on main deck.
But it's so interesting in here. I think I know how it works.
All right, I'll come down to you. Piton, don't touch anything.
What does this do?
Yes, I better get down low quickly.
I'm going to run.
You book it! Piton turns to say that, but it's already like an outline of where you were.
Just my hair is left.
Yep. And then it follows. So you run down and you see as Ponzi is sort of just looking up and around.
I think I figured it out, so it would seem that these are sort of the controls, and it's something else that is making it an aerial unit.
It's made of a sort of special wood. Float wood, if you've heard of it.
Ah! I have no idea what you're talking about. A floatwood, yes, of course. I don't know. So, if it's is it a natural material? I don't think it's a natural material. I see. Is it natural?
Is it natural?
It is natural. It's wood.
Did I like?
It's wood. Of course it's natural.
Then that means our druids can make more of it.
Both of you
Shall
stare
we-
at each other in an awkward silence.
Shall
Yeah,
I
what does
stop
this
this
do?
thing so you may get off? Don't want another scare like that.
Well, tell me the properties of this floatwood. It would seem that the airship is in constant aviation. Is that right?
That is correct.
I see. So if it is in constant aviation, that means that the controls are to change the direction in which it carries the wind.
And he begins to mumble to himself. Putting his hand up to his chin, as he begins to slowly walk out of the room and out back through the hole. And since he's so lost in thought, and lands on the
wasn't
ground.
Run!
Far, but
I
you know.
scream.
He's a gnome.
So am I.
And he wasn't paying attention.
From a distance, Yizit just has his arms out, and he's trying to herd the associates toward the ship.
Go,
They
go,
start
go,
flying
go,
away,
go, go.
flapping their wings.
They T-pose away. And no clip into the air.
Oh.
As a gorilla's MIDI plays in the background.
Okay. I'm gonna go back on the deck of the ship. And I believe I believe since it was fixed, we do have an anchor, so we can go ahead and anchor it down.
Okay. So you drop the rusty anvil over the side.
Well, remember that was lost.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My brother just said that was lost.
So
Angry.
you sort of just lock the altitude so it's just barely hovering above the ground.
Anvil's a safety measure.
All right. So, my apologies. I got a bug in my throat. So, I think that's where we are going to take a break as Ponzi peels himself off the ground. And spits out like a chunk of grass.
The teeth. A single teeth.
A single teeth. But anyway, we'll catch you in part 2. We'll be taking a short break for those of you that are watching live, and we will see you in the second part of episode 14 of our Arisen series. See you next time.